Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Francia, and on this channel, we do a little bit of everything. But lately, I have been interested in true crime. And if you're interested as well, I hope you hit your subscribe button and your notification bell so that you always know when I upload. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with me. Well, this one is not a surprise actually because I was supposed to have had my shoulder fixed, but I finally am feeling better from the whole coughing situation and the cold that took over my whole entire existence since December of 2024 to now recovering from shoulder surgery. Yeah. And once again, I have to apologize for sounding half past dad. But yeah, it's very interesting. Okay, so I've never had that type of surgery before, so I don't know why. I was expecting, like, I don't know, post-op day 2, I was gonna be feeling great. I was like, I'm going to sit here and just record and just put out 2 to 3 videos for the time that I'm going to be down. Because, what else am I gonna do besides being in bed recovering? No, big mistake, okay? This thing hurts like a biatch. And I'm sitting here and it's like I'm either in pain or I'm loopy from taking pain medication. And it's not what I was expecting it to be. I am currently post-op day 7 and I'm still not it. I have to still alternate and I don't like that. Day 5 and 6, I was like, I'm gonna thug it out and I'm gonna take some Tylenol and it's gonna be okay. And I did, and it was fine, right? It wasn't like unbearable pain. I could still feel it. But when I tell you this thing came back with a vengeance on day 7, early morning, I was like, what is happening? I should have stuck to my regimen. I didn't. I don't know. If you have had ortho surgery, comment below and let me know, like, what is this? I feel like they're still drilling and into my shoulder. It's just a weird pain. Anyways, I'm rambling. Let's get into today's story. But again, before I do, I have to remind you guys to please subscribe to the channel. If you like true crime stuff, hit your subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that you never miss an episode. Okay? Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right, let's take a little trip to England. Today's story is about a trusted family doctor, a pillar of his community, and a man whose name is now synonymous with betrayal and death. Yep, you heard correctly. With an estimated 284 victims over a roughly 30-year period, this guy is considered to be one of the most prolific serial killers in history. But how did a man who took an oath to heal people become their worst nightmare? We don't know. Well, let's see if we can find out. Who exactly are we talking about? Let's get into it. Born on January 14th, 1946 in Nottingham, England, Harold Frederick Shipman was the second of 3 children born to Harold Frederick Shipman, I want to say senior, who was a lorry driver, and Vera née Britton. That's funny. I didn't see what mom did for a living. Maybe she didn't work outside of the house and maybe she just raised the children. But it was said that both of his parents were hardworking people and also devout Methodists. It was said that growing up, Fred was a very bright child and he was also very close to his domineering mother, Vera, who, because of his brightness, his smarticles, yes, that's the word, made him feel like he was superior to other people for whatever reason. And it's a situation which didn't really help him later on in life in developing close relationships with other people, which left him feeling isolated as an adolescent. Because why would you make your child feel like they were better than other people? Because they still would have to develop some sort of a relationship with their peers. So instead of helping him form those relationships and blend in, she told him that he was superior. Yeah, that was not a smart move. Anyways, around his teenage years, he received some devastating news. His mother, his beloved mother, to whom he was very close, was diagnosed with lung cancer. It was a very dark time for Fred because he was particularly, like I said, close to his mom. And you can only imagine what that must have been like for him having to deal with that. And he already didn't have many friends because, again, his mom made him think that he was above everybody else. Whatever. Fred here, unlike most children or teenagers his age, he decided that he was going to not miss anything from his mom's treatment. He wanted to be there up front and center, and he saw everything. He saw everything and watched how his mom would just go from suffering and being in agonizing pain to drifting off to sleep due to the medication, the morphine that she was receiving. He was just fascinated by the effect that the morphine had on his mom's pain. And sadly, on June 21st, 1963, when he was 17 years old, his mom would end up passing from the lung cancer, which was extremely devastating for Fred. But it would also serve as his biggest motivator to go to medical school and become a doctor. And sadly, the way that he watched his mom die would become his ammo. Remember earlier when I said he watched everything as his mom was being treated? He watched everything. He witnessed the powerful effects of morphine, a drug that would end up playing a chilling role in his crimes. A couple of years after his mother's passing, Fred got married and the couple went on to have 4 children together. He also simultaneously attended medical school at Leeds School of Medicine, University of Leeds, where he graduated in 1970. After completing his medical training, Fred began his career at Pontefract General Infirmary in West Yorkshire, I don't know. And later on in 1974, he took his first position as a general practitioner at the Abraham Ormerod Medical Center in Todmorden. He built a reputation as a dedicated and compassionate doctor at both places. His patient had nothing but nice things to say about him. They would say things like, quote, "He was so kind and caring. You could tell him anything and he'd always listen. We trusted him completely," end quote. Aw, poor things. Little did they know. A year after Fred got hired as a general practitioner at Todmorden, he began having a little problem. See, Fred here became addicted to this prescription drug, to this painkiller, and he had this brilliant idea of forging the prescription to receive it himself. Yeah, not good. I'm sure that's illegal. Yeah, but thankfully his colleagues found out and they snitched, okay? As a result, he was forced out of that practice, was fined 600 euros, and briefly attended a drug rehab in York. Yikes. Bayo bat bien travay pou msye, no? Msye pense lte ka al vole ti grenyo pou l'bweyo, po diab. Bayo mal pase pou li. But fear not, because homeboy wasn't down for too long. Oh no. In 1977, Fred got another job working as a general practitioner at Donnybrook Medical Center in Hyde, Greater Manchester. While at Hyde, he made sure to stay out of trouble, okay? He was like, "You're not going to catch me slipping this time." He put in a great deal of effort to be recognized as a hardworking doctor who was trusted by his patients and colleagues, although he could be a little arrogant at times because, remember, his mom made him feel like he was superior to other people. So, yeah. But other than that, homeboy stayed out of trouble. So much so that he ended up working there for almost 20 years until he opened his own practice in 1993, and he practiced happily ever after. The end. Oh, I wish. No, not the end. that was the end, we wouldn't be here, but we're here, so definitely not the end. Fred began his little killing spree in the late 1970s, but it wasn't until the late 1990s that the full scale of his crimes came to light. What happened was, in March of 1998, this nice little general practitioner lady by the name of Linda Reynolds, who worked at the Brook Surgery in Hyde, she went to the coroner for the South Manchester district. Okay, his name was John Pollard. And she told him, hey, listen, my guy, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm noticing a high death rate with this guy, Fred, especially about the large number of cremation forms for elderly women that he keeps bringing on through. Like, what is that? You know, what's going on? I just thought I'd let y'all know because it doesn't make any sense, you know? So then the police was like, say less. We'll look into it. Thank you for your concerns and thank you for bringing this to our attention. I don't know if that's how they said it, but that's how I'm imagining it. Okay, let me be great. They did open an investigation. However, they were unable to find enough evidence to charge homeboy with any crimes. So they ended up closing the case on the 17th of April. Now, just because they couldn't find anything to tie him to the murders did not mean that he did not commit the murders. Well, allegedly at this point in time. He was just sneaky, okay? His method was simple yet sinister. He would administer lethal doses of morphine to his mostly elderly patients, signing off their deaths as natural causes. That's crazy. After they closed the investigation, Fred would go on to unalive about 24 more patients before they caught him, okay? So there's this taxi driver, right? In August of that year, he kept taking seemingly healthy patients to this man's practice and it just kept turning up dead. So he got a little suspicious and he ended up reporting his suspicions to the police. He was like, listen, these people I picked up in my taxi and you know, they're elderly patients and relatively healthy. I take them to this guy and they're always turning up dead under his care. I think you should look into that because I think something is definitely going on because every single last one of them is turning up dead. Do something. So yeah, in total, it is estimated that Fred murdered over 200 patients during his career, making him one of history's deadliest serial killers. Now, as I said before, homeboy was sneaky, so for years, his crimes went unnoticed, hidden beneath the guise of a caring doctor. But unfortunately for him, on June 24th of 1998, he would unalive for the last time because he went after the wrong person, or should I say, the right person. Fred's last victim, Miss Kathleen Grundy, was a former mayor of Hyde. She was found unalived in her home, and Fred was the last person to see her alive. Not good. Not good at all. Now, according to her death certificate, it was recorded that she died of old age, right? No. Her daughter, Angela Woodruff, who had some legal background, I think she was some sort of lawyer or something, she wasn't buying it, okay? She was like, something is not adding up. Her suspicions grew even more when a colleague of hers made her aware that there's a will that her mother had made and he didn't think that it was authentic because apparently her mother, Kathleen, excluded her daughter, Angela, and Angela's children, Kathleen's grandchildren, from the will, which made absolutely no sense. But get this, she left everything, all of her estate, 386,000 euros to be exact, to Fred. Make it make sense. Why would I change my will to take my children and my grandchildren out and leave everything to my doctor? Huh? Monsieur Fou? So pensez pa gen moun ki ta pral wè so fè a? You really thought that no one was going to notice, sir? So Angela and her friend, they agreed that she should go to the police and report the whole thing, which she did, and they began an investigation into the matter. They went ahead and they exhumed Kathleen's body, and it was revealed that she had traces of a toxic amount of morphine in her body. And she was a relatively healthy person. So when they questioned Fred, her doctor, he told them that Kathleen was an addict, and to back up his little claim, he showed them like his little medical notes, like her medical record, like the thing that he charted on his patients or whatever, his little computer, medical journal, computer thing, whatever you want to call it. And when they went to examine said journal, computer thingy, medical records, they noticed that all of his entries were made after the lady had died. Huh? Okay, so if you have a patient that you're taking care of and the patient is an addict and you've been seeing this patient over a period of time, you would have had your notes spread out over that time period. It's not like Kathleen was a brand new patient. And if in fact Kathleen was a brand new patient, when would you have had the time to establish that she was an addict that consumed a large amount of heroin, you know? And if in fact she wasn't a new patient and you have been treating her for her addiction, wouldn't you have a trail of paperwork that would document your visits over a period of time? Why would you have all that stuff written after she done passed? Make it make sense, sir. Make it make sense. So then the police dug a little more and they found that Fred here had in his possession a Brother typewriter that could be used to falsify stuff like wills and things. So on September 7th, 1998, Fred was arrested. As investigators dug a little deeper, they uncovered a shocking pattern of deaths. Fred's medical records combined with exhumations and toxicology reports linked him to over 200 suspicious deaths. That is crazy. Over 200? That is nuts. And as many people as he was suspected of killing, he was only charged with 15 counts of murder and 1 count of forgery for the will thing and, Kathleen's case. I think that had to do with the fact that he had cremated most of his victims and that they could only exhume about 15 of them. And that's where they had tangible proof linking him to those murders. I don't know. That's my guess. I could be wrong, but comment below if you have an idea as to why he was only charged with 15. His trial began on October 5th, 1999 at the Preston Crown Court. The prosecution presented overwhelming evidence, including falsified medical records and testimonies from the families of the victims. Pathology reports also showed that there is a high level of morphine toxicity in their post-mortem findings. And fingerprints analysis showed that Kathleen never touched that will and that her signature was falsified. Although Fred never did admit to any wrongdoing, they didn't really need his help, It was pretty much slam dunk. On January 31st of 2000, after they deliberated for about 6 days, Fred was found guilty of 15 counts of murder and 1 count of forgery. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole and another 4 years for the forgery to be served concurrently. And we love this for him, okay? We just were very happy for him. Even after his conviction, Fred showed no remorse and refused to admit to his crimes, leaving many family members without closure. That's so sad. I hate when that happens because they got the guy. You could at least be looking at the person who took your loved one away from you and they're still denying, doing it. So there's like a part of you that's like, okay, he did it and he's just lying. And there is a part of you that's like, okay, maybe their killer is still out there. That's so annoying. But of course, in the true fashion of a piece of shirt who can dish it out but cannot take it, Fred here was supposed to rot in prison for the rest of his miserable life, but only about 4 years later, he took the easy way out. Fred hanged himself in his prison cell the day before he turned 58. Oh, I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Why? His death brought an end to his life, but not to the question surrounding his motives and the true extent of his crimes. It was speculated that he took his own life so that his family could get financial compensation or like a pension, because it was said that because of his crimes and the fact that he was stripped of his medical license, he was not going to get his pension that he was set to get. But if he had kicked the bucket before he turned 60, then his family would be eligible to get financial compensation or SID pension or something. So it was speculated that that's the reason why homeboy ended up taking his own life. I don't know. We don't know. It could be true or it could not be true. Your guess is as good as mine, and homeboy is not here to tell us why. But his family did get the money, so we can only assume that that's why he did it. I don't know. Coward. It was said that his death was well received by some, and others were very upset by it, because there's a lot of family members who are now saying that they would never get closure, like I said before, because they just lost their possible chance of ever receiving a confession from the guy, because, you know, he claimed that he never did it. But who knows, as time went on, he probably would have confessed. But now that he took his own life, they just lost any shred of hope that they had at getting a confession ever. And others were like, good for him. You know, you're not going to be missed. Goodbye. Ship, hooray. Bye, good riddance. You know, but I get it either way. I get why the family members were upset that he did that, and I get why the public was happy that he took his own life, you know? But I'm just upset that he didn't get to rot. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the story of Harold Frederick Shipman. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Fred's story is one of betrayal, manipulation, and the darkest depths of human nature. A man, a doctor sworn to heal people, became their worst nightmare. Like, how trustworthy do you find your doctor to be, you know? I know it's a scary thought, but I feel like we have a lot more in place nowadays that our doctors wouldn't try us like that, hopefully, you know? But we have to always remember to be vigilant and accountable in all walks of life. Go in with somebody if you can. Always ask to read things, ask them questions over and over. They will be annoyed with you, but at the very least you will know what is happening with your care. Stay vigilant, people. Okay, take care of yourselves. Anyways, that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section, even though you guys never do, but I mean it. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. But until then, I hope to see you in the comment section. Bye.